For citizens of certain nations around the world, the prospect of visiting Canada involves a relatively straightforward process, perhaps booking a flight, ensuring their passport is valid, and potentially applying for a simple electronic travel authorization online. They don't face the daunting requirement of obtaining a traditional visitor visa, which for many foreign nationals involves navigating complex application forms, gathering extensive documentation, potentially traveling long distances for interviews at embassies or consulates, and paying significant fees, a process that can be both time-consuming and fraught with uncertainty. So, why do citizens of specific countries, including a notable number from Asia and other regions, get what feels like VIP treatment when it comes to entering Canada, while individuals from many other nations still face what can seem like mountains of paperwork and bureaucratic hurdles? Is this preferential treatment based purely on political alliances, driven by economic considerations and trade relationships, rooted in a fundamental level of trust between governments, or is there something else entirely at play that determines who gets to skip the traditional visa queue? Dear viewers, before continuing this video, we kindly ask you to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you want to receive notifications about new video releases, please hit the bell icon. Thank you for your understanding. We will continue now. Canada's list of countries whose citizens are exempt from requiring a standard temporary resident visa for short-term stays has seen significant updates and expansions over the years, reflecting evolving relationships, security assessments, and policy priorities. And in 2025, if your country is among those that have made the cut, you are indeed in luck, enjoying a level of travel ease that opens doors to visiting Canada with minimal administrative burden. However, not everyone qualifies for this expedited entry, and the rules and reasons behind the exemptions aren't always as simple or immediately obvious as they might seem from the outside. We delve now into the situation as it stands in 2025, breaking down the 10 countries, including those listed in the provided context, from which Canada reportedly won't require standard visitor visas for citizens, and exploring the underlying factors and complex reasons why these nations and their citizens have earned this privileged status, and why it matters in the broader landscape of international travel and relations. Japan. Some passports are more than just travel documents. They unlock more than just access through airport gates. They can open doors to a level of global mobility and privilege that is far from universally shared. And the passport issued by this nation is widely recognized as one of the most powerful in the world, granting its holders access to an astonishing number of destinations without the need for extensive visa applications. Yes, we are talking about Japan. With reportedly visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to well over 190 countries and territories worldwide, Japanese passport holders enjoy a kind of global freedom of movement that is the envy of countless individuals in many other parts of the world. And guess what? Canada is prominently among those nations that welcome Japanese citizens with minimal entry requirements. No standard visitor visa is needed for short-term stays. All that is typically required is an approved electronic travel authorization, ETA, if arriving by air, a simple online process, and you are cleared for takeoff, ready to experience Canada's diverse landscapes and vibrant cities. But the question arises, why does Canada place such a high degree of trust in Japanese travelers, granting them this expedited entry privilege when citizens of many other developed nations still require traditional visas? Several factors are widely believed to contribute to this trust. One key element is the consistently low overstay rate among Japanese visitors to Canada. Immigration authorities closely track how many visitors remain in the country beyond their permitted period of stay. Japan has a long-standing and reliable record of its citizens adhering to Canadian immigration laws and returning to their home country on time. This high level of compliance builds confidence within Canada's immigration system. Another contributing factor is Japan's highly developed and technologically advanced travel infrastructure and security systems. The integrity and security features of Japanese passports are considered top tier, and the country's border control measures are robust. Furthermore, Japan has one of the lowest crime rates globally among developed nations, and this general perception of a law-abiding society also plays a role in the overall trust placed in its citizens by foreign governments. You would be genuinely shocked how much this combination of factors, a proven track record of compliance, advanced security measures, and a reputation for safety and order plays into the complex calculations behind a country's visa policy decisions, effectively establishing a high level of trust. While citizens of many other countries, even those with strong economies, battle with complex visa applications, rejections, and bureaucratic hurdles, Japanese travelers reportedly breeze through Canadian immigration like seasoned frequent flyers, experiencing a level of ease that is a testament to their nation's global standing and reputation. It underscores the reality that not all passports are created equal in the eyes of international authorities. This privileged access is a clear example of international respect in action, a status earned through decades of reliable behavior, economic stability, and a strong global reputation for order and compliance. Japan has, by consistently demonstrating these qualities, reportedly earned every bit of the trust and facilitated access it enjoys when its citizens wish to visit Canada and numerous other nations around the world. South Korea. It is widely recognized as a nation moving at a remarkable pace, characterized by its fast-developing industries, ultra-modern infrastructure, and status as one of the most technologically advanced societies on Earth. Beyond its global influence in areas like K-pop music and cutting-edge technology, South Korea has also built a significant reputation in the realm of international trust and reliability, qualities that are highly valued in diplomatic and travel relations. And yes, Canada is among the countries that formally allows South Korean citizens to enter its territory without the requirement of a standard visitor visa for short-term stays, instead typically requiring only an electronic travel authorization for air travel, making the process considerably smoother than a traditional visa application. You might naturally wonder how this came to be. Why do South Koreans reportedly get this relatively free pass when citizens of many other developed or economically stable nations still face stringent visa requirements for Canada? The reasons are multifaceted and rooted in South Korea's strong international standing and the demonstrated behavior of its citizens as travelers. Well, here's a key factor. South Korea consistently ranks high in international assessments of economic stability and development, possessing a robust and modern economy. This economic strength is often seen by immigration authorities as an indicator that its citizens are less likely to seek irregular economic opportunities abroad or pose a high risk of overstaying their welcome for economic reasons. Furthermore, South Korean travelers in general are viewed as posing a low security or immigration risk. But guess what really seems to seal the deal and solidify Canada's trust? South Korea is reportedly one of the few countries, globally and notably within Asia, with a record of nearly zero visa violations or overstays among its citizens who have previously visited Canada. This isn't simply a matter of luck. It reflects a consistent and reliable pattern of behavior among South Korean travelers who adhere strictly to immigration rules, respect the terms of their entry, and consistently return to their home country as required. This exceptional compliance record builds a strong reputation and a high level of confidence within Canada's immigration system. So, next time you hypothetically see someone from Seoul appearing to breeze through Canadian immigration and border control procedures with minimal fuss, know that their ease of entry is backed by years of mutual trust established through diplomatic and economic ties and, crucially, by a flawless collective track record of compliance with Canadian immigration laws. It's a clear demonstration of how a nation's reputation and the behavior of its citizens directly translate into tangible travel privileges. Singapore. You might initially think that a tiny island city-state lacking vast land for expansion, significant natural resources, or a large population could only make a limited impact on the global stage. But what if we told you that this particular city-state possesses one of the strongest and most respected passports on Earth, granting its citizens access to an astonishing number of countries and commanding almost instant respect at immigration counters worldwide? Stay tuned, because that city-state is Singapore, and its citizens enjoy a level of global mobility that defies its small size, including facilitated entry to Canada. It has no towering mountain ranges, no sprawling forests rich with timber, no vast mineral deposits underground, and its total land area is smaller than some major metropolitan cities in other countries, measuring just over 700 square kilometers. But here's what will truly blow your mind. This country's passport grants its citizens visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to more destinations globally than almost any other passport on Earth, consistently ranking among the top 2 or 3 most powerful passports. And critically for our focus, this includes visa-free travel to Canada. Yes, we are talking about Singapore, and you would be genuinely shocked at how a tiny island nation with a population of just over 5 million people has managed to gain this exceptional level of international trust and diplomatic standing, translating directly into travel privileges for its citizens. So, how exactly did Singaporeans earn the remarkable privilege of skipping Canada's standard visitor visa line entirely, a process that requires extensive documentation and interviews for many others? It's rooted in much more than just skillful diplomacy, although Singapore is known for its pragmatic and effective foreign policy. This city-state has built a global reputation based on strong governance, efficiency, and a commitment to the rule of law, consistently ranking among the lowest in the world for corruption rates. It possesses an ultra-modern travel infrastructure and highly advanced security systems at its borders, utilizing cutting-edge technology. Its passport is so widely respected internationally that immigration officers across the world reportedly barely hesitate or blink when they see it, confident in its security features and the reliability of its holder. But guess what makes Singapore's case even more striking and reinforces Canada's trust? Singaporeans don't just get into Canada visa-free, they are also cleared for entry into a remarkable list of other highly sought-after destinations, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Japan, and the entire Schengen area of European countries, often with minimal fuss. That kind of extensive global access is not a matter of mere luck or geographical convenience. It is a status built meticulously on decades of solid economic performance, maintaining a stable and prosperous economy, pursuing a pragmatic and often militarily neutral foreign policy, and, crucially, maintaining a squeaky clean collective immigration record with countries around the world. And if you're wondering why Canada specifically places such a high degree of trust in them, here's something significant to consider. Singaporean travelers reportedly have one of the lowest overstay rates and overall visa violation rates in Canada among all international visitor groups. In fact, they are reportedly considered so low risk from an immigration perspective that all they typically need to enter Canada by air is an electronic travel authorization (ETA), which involves a simple online application and approval process. No lengthy embassy visits, no stressful interviews, no compiling stacks of paperwork to prove their intent to return home. Now, ask yourself this intriguing question. How does a nation with no real land to expand into, no massive standing army projecting power globally, and no vast natural exports that dominate global markets, become one of the most trusted players in global mobility and international travel? The answer lies in a combination of national discipline, relentless efficiency in its systems and governance, a strategic approach to international relations, and cultivating a global image that consistently screams reliability and trustworthiness. It strongly suggests that when it comes to international travel privileges, sheer size or traditional forms of power are not the only determinants. This little red dot on the map is, in many ways, rewriting the rules of global travel accessibility, demonstrating that a reputation built on solid governance, security, and compliance can command respect and open doors around the world, one seamless entry at a time. Israel. It is undoubtedly one of the most talked about countries in the world, a nation frequently in the headlines due to its complex geopolitical situation and regional dynamics. But for many outside the Middle East, the focus of these discussions often overshadows a surprising fact about Israel when it comes to international travel access. Here's what surprises people most. Israelis do not need a traditional visitor visa to enter Canada for short-term stays. That's right. Despite the regional complexities and the various perceptions associated with the name Israel, the country ranks among a select few nations whose citizens are granted visa-free access to Canada, typically requiring only an electronic travel authorization, ETA, for air travel as of 2023. So, how exactly did this happen? The move to grant Israeli citizens visa-free entry to Canada, often highlighted as a significant development, is reportedly rooted in the long-standing and multifaceted partnership between Israel and Canada. This relationship is described as being grounded in mutual trust, significant security cooperation on various international issues, and strong bilateral trade relationships that benefit both nations. But even beyond the political and economic dimensions of the partnership, Israel's collective travel record speaks volumes about the behavior of its citizens when visiting foreign countries, including Canada. Reports indicate that the vast majority of Israeli travelers consistently comply with Canadian immigration laws, adhere to the terms of their permitted stay, avoid overstays, and tend to return to their home country as required by immigration regulations. And Canada, through its monitoring and data analysis, reportedly notices this consistent pattern of reliable travel behavior. But guess what really helped tip the scales and led to the implementation of visa-free access via the ETA system? Israel's citizens are part of an elite global club of travelers whose passports are widely recognized and allow for relatively seamless access to a significant number of destinations worldwide. Reports suggest Israeli passports allow access to more than 160 countries visa-free or with visa on arrival. This extensive list includes the vast majority of countries in Europe via the Schengen area, the United States, Australia, and now, yes, Canada. This broad global acceptance reflects a high level of international confidence in Israeli travelers. And no, this facilitated access to Canada wasn't always the case. It has evolved over time. The move to visa-free travel via ETA was reportedly implemented after years of rigorous assessments, the development of advanced travel vetting systems, solid background check procedures, and ongoing cooperation on international security issues between Canadian and Israeli authorities. In short, Canada is not simply handing out trust indiscriminately. It is a status that has been demonstrably earned through consistent performance and cooperation. You would be surprised by how many people, based on geopolitical headlines, might assume that Israeli citizens would face particularly tight travel restrictions when visiting countries like Canada. However, the data and the immigration policies in place reportedly say otherwise. In fact, Israel's collectively low rate of immigration violations, including overstays, and a high rate of compliance with entry and exit rules, make its citizens a safe bet in the eyes of Canadian border authorities responsible for managing visitor flows and ensuring security. All that is typically required for Israeli citizens arriving by air is an approved electronic travel authorization ETA, a relatively quick online process, and they are cleared to visit the Great White North. So, next time you wonder what truly grants a country's citizens visa-free or facilitated travel privileges to nations like Canada, remember that it's often not just about geography or the immediate political headlines. It is built on concrete proof of trust established over time, consistent patterns of compliant travel behavior among citizens, and mutual respect and cooperation between governments on matters of security and mobility. Taiwan. What happens when your passport represents an entity whose political status is a subject of constant international debate and whose passport is constantly mistaken for another, yet its citizens' travel document still manages to open more doors for global travel than most? We are talking about Taiwan, a vibrant democratic society and technological powerhouse, a place often caught in the complexities of international political debates due to its unique status. But when it comes to global travel and immigration access, Taiwan's standing is notably high. Its citizens are reportedly in a league of their own in terms of mobility. And yes, you would likely be surprised to learn that Canada formally grants Taiwanese citizens visa-free access for short-term stays, typically requiring only an electronic travel authorization, ETA, for air travel. You might be asking a fundamental question. How does a nation not universally recognized as an independent sovereign state by all countries manage to gain that level of trust and obtain visa-free access from one of the most secure and diligent immigration systems in the world like Canada's? Here's where the situation gets particularly interesting and highlights the factors that Canada prioritizes in its visa policy. Taiwan reportedly boasts one of the highest human development scores in Asia, indicating a high standard of living, education, and social well-being among its population. It possesses a strong rule of law with transparent legal systems and low levels of corruption. It consistently maintains low crime rates, contributing to a general perception of order and security. Crucially, Taiwanese citizens have demonstrated a remarkably reliable track record when it comes to international travel behavior, consistently adhering to the immigration laws of the countries they visit. But guess what makes Taiwan's case for visa-free access to Canada particularly compelling? It's not just about static statistics. It's about consistent performance over time. Taiwanese visitors have reportedly maintained an exceptionally low visa overstay rate in Canada, meaning that the vast majority of those who visit comply with the terms of their entry and depart within the permitted time frame. This consistency builds a high level of confidence within Canada's immigration system. When you look at global rankings of passport power and travel mobility, Taiwan's passport consistently ranks high, allowing access to well over 140 countries visa-free or with visa on arrival, including a significant portion of countries in Europe, the United Kingdom, Australia, and now, yes, Canada. That level of extensive global access is a huge stamp of approval from numerous immigration authorities worldwide, reflecting a high level of trust in Taiwanese travelers. It strongly suggests that sheer size, economic scale, or even universal political recognition are not the sole determinants of travel freedom. Taiwan has built its credibility through other means, including a well-educated population, significant achievements in technology and innovation, and a consistent commitment to international cooperation and responsible global citizenship, rather than relying on loud political headlines to define its status. Taiwan is also recognized as one of Asia's most digitally advanced societies, with sophisticated border control and security technology systems that reportedly rival those of top-tier nations. Canada knows this and factors it into its risk assessments. Now, here's the jaw-dropper for many observers of international relations. Even with the complicated and sensitive international political dynamics surrounding Taiwan's status, the country was reportedly quietly added to Canada's Electronic Travel Authorization (ETA) eligible list, effectively granting its citizens visa-free access for short stays if arriving by air. This was a significant step, something that many larger or more widely recognized countries still haven't achieved for their citizens when it comes to Canada's entry requirements. This means that all it typically takes for eligible Taiwanese travelers is a simple online application for an approved ETA, and they are free to explore Canada. No lengthy embassy visits, no stressful interviews, no compiling extensive stacks of paperwork to prove their intent to return home. Just a relatively smooth entry process. So, next time you hear someone assume that complex political situations automatically mean stringent visa requirements, remember Taiwan. Its citizens don't just pass the test for facilitated travel. By consistently demonstrating reliability and compliance, despite unique political circumstances, they reportedly set the curve for how trust can be earned in the complex world of international mobility. Hong Kong would naturally expect that a region with such a complicated and dynamic history, a major global financial hub that has undergone significant political transitions, would be buried under layers of red tape and stringent regulations when it comes to international travel access for its residents. But here's a significant shocker for many. Citizens of Hong Kong, specifically those holding the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, HKSAR, passport issued after the handover to China, can enter Canada without requiring a standard visitor visa for short-term stays. That's right. Despite the various twists and turns in Hong Kong's political and social landscape in recent years, Canada's policy regarding visa requirements for HKSAR passport holders has reportedly remained consistent and clear. Trust in the validity and integrity of the HKSAR passport remains strong, facilitating travel for its holders. However, it's crucial to note that not all individuals associated with Hong Kong automatically qualify for this visa-free status. There are specific requirements regarding the type of passport held. Here's where it gets technical and details matter. The visa-free status for travel to Canada applies specifically and only to those holding the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region (HKSAR) passport. It does not apply to individuals holding the British National Overseas (BNO) passport or other types of travel documents that some Hong Kong residents may possess. So, while the privilege of visa-free travel to Canada is very real for eligible individuals, possessing the correct passport is a fundamental requirement. Now, the question arises, why would Canada continue to allow visa-free access for HKSAR passport holders, particularly given the complexities surrounding Hong Kong's autonomy and political situation? The reasons are reportedly rooted in a long-standing positive reputation built over decades. Hong Kong has a well-established reputation for clean financial practices, transparency in business, strong global business ties facilitated by its status as a major financial center, and a history of orderly travel records among its residents. In fact, over the past decade, before and during recent periods of political change, immigration violations by HKSAR, passport holders visiting Canada, such as overstays or working without authorization, have reportedly been among the lowest, compared to many other regions. This history of compliance builds confidence within Canada's immigration system. But guess what else reportedly gives HKSAR passport holders an edge in facilitating travel? Hong Kong's international airport security and customs systems are consistently rated among the best and most advanced in Asia, utilizing sophisticated technology and procedures. Travelers departing from Hong Kong are generally known for being punctual, respectful of travel regulations, and almost always compliant with entry rules upon arrival in other countries. That kind of collective reputation among travelers from a particular origin does not go unnoticed by immigration authorities abroad. It also significantly helps that Canada and Hong Kong share a rich and extensive history of economic exchange, bilateral trade, and robust educational partnerships. Thousands of Hong Kong students reportedly choose to study in Canada each year, contributing positively to Canadian society and typically returning home upon completion of their studies without issue, further reinforcing the trust built through people-to-people connections. The trust between Canada and Hong Kong, built on economic ties, educational links, and a track record of compliant travel, appears to be mutual and reportedly continues to demonstrate its value through this facilitated travel access. You would be genuinely shocked how many people still operate under the assumption that Hong Kong's visa privileges for countries like Canada disappeared entirely due to political developments. In reality, they are very much alive and well for those carrying the specific HKSAR passport, underscoring the importance of official recognition and travel document integrity. With only an electronic travel authorization, ETA, typically needed to enter Canada by air, eligible travelers from Hong Kong can reportedly experience Canada with significantly less hassle and administrative burden than citizens of many of their own neighboring regions, highlighting the strength of the HKSAR passport's international standing. United Arab Emirates. What if your country's passport, in a relatively short span of time, significantly increased the number of doors it could open for its citizens around the world, providing access to destinations that previously required extensive visa processes? And we're not just talking about access to business lounges or exclusive luxury hotels. We're talking about gaining entry into countries like Canada without the requirement of a traditional visitor visa. This is the reality for citizens of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, where nationals can now reportedly travel to Canada with only an electronic travel authorization, ETA, if arriving by air, a significant shift from previous requirements. You would be genuinely shocked how quickly this change occurred, moving from a status that required standard visas to one of facilitated, visa-free entry. Once viewed through a more traditional diplomatic lens, with standard visa requirements in place, the UAE has reportedly, in recent years, risen to become one of the most trusted countries on Canada's visa-exempt list, a status achieved through deliberate efforts and demonstrated performance. But guess what really stands out as the key factor in this transformation, beyond the obvious associations with oil wealth and the development of glittering, futuristic skylines? It's trust, built on concrete data and enhanced cooperation. According to official Canadian immigration data and reports, Emirati citizens have consistently shown exceptionally low immigration violation rates when visiting Canada, meaning instances of overstays, unauthorized work, or other breaches of immigration law are minimal. This high level of compliance is a powerful indicator of reliability. Furthermore, strong and growing economic links between Canada and the UAE, including bilateral trade and investment, create a mutually beneficial relationship that Canada reportedly wants to keep open and facilitate through easier travel. This combination of factors means that UAE nationals only need an electronic travel authorization, ETA, a relatively quick online application, to enter Canada by air, eliminating the need for lengthy paperwork, multiple visits to visa application centers, or stressful interviews that are part of the traditional visa process. The UAE has made tremendous strategic investments in recent years, not just in physical infrastructure like buildings and transportation, but also in education, technology, and strengthening its governance systems. Their development of advanced biometric identification systems and secure travel documents is so sophisticated that, according to reports, many international airports around the world, including in Europe and other developed regions, look to the UAE for models of security and efficiency. Canada is reportedly aware of these advancements and takes them into consideration. When a country demonstrates both high internal security standards and a consistent respect for international travel laws and regulations, ensuring its citizens are reliable travelers, well, that reportedly changes everything in terms of how its citizens are perceived and processed at borders. You might ask, why did the UAE achieve this status relatively quickly, and why them and not some of their neighboring countries in the Middle East? The answer, again, reportedly lies in their deliberate cultivation of a positive global reputation and a long, consistent history of compliance with international travel rules and security cooperation. Canada's diplomatic and economic relationship with the UAE has strengthened rapidly in recent years, marked by mutual visits, increased bilateral trade, and specific agreements aimed at improving mobility and cooperation, including the implementation of the ETA program. Another thing you probably didn't know, which highlights the broader recognition of the UAE's efforts, is that the UAE passport now ranks among the top 20 most powerful passports globally, granting visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to over 170 countries. That is no small feat, representing a remarkable increase in global mobility in a relatively short period. From being seen primarily as a regional economic power built on oil, to now being recognized as a global mobility success story, the UAE is, in many ways, rewriting what passport power and international travel access look like in the 21st century. So, while you might initially think its facilitated travel status to Canada is all about wealth or oil exports, the reality is that, in the assessment of Canadian immigration authorities, it is fundamentally about demonstrated reliability, robust security measures, and established trust. And according to the reports, the UAE checks all three of those crucial boxes. Philippines. Some countries, it is argued, earn international trust and facilitated travel status not primarily through the sheer size of their economy or their geopolitical power, but through the consistent reliability and positive behavior of their citizens who travel or reside abroad over decades, building a reputation for dependability. The Philippines is reportedly one of those rare and compelling cases where a deep-rooted cultural connection to Canada, fostered by a large diaspora, has played a significant role in enhancing global mobility for its citizens. And yes, Canada has reportedly expanded its visa-free travel program to allow eligible Filipino citizens to travel to Canada without requiring a standard visitor visa, but crucially, under one key condition. They must have held a Canadian visitor visa in the last 10 years, or currently hold a valid non-immigrant visa for the United States. You would likely be surprised by just how many Filipinos qualify under these specific criteria, making facilitated travel a reality for a substantial number. The Philippines has one of the largest and fastest-growing diaspora communities in Canada, with reportedly over 900,000 Filipinos currently living, working, studying, and thriving in Canada today, contributing significantly to Canadian society across various sectors, including healthcare, technology, and business. This large and well-established community is seen as more than just a statistic. It represents a powerful bridge of trust between the two nations, built on family connections, cultural exchange, and mutual understanding. But guess what makes the Philippines' inclusion on Canada's expanded visa-free eligible list in 2023 even more interesting from a policy perspective? The decision was reportedly a strategic move by the Canadian government, influenced by observed patterns of travel behavior. Filipino travelers have reportedly consistently shown low overstay rates and high return rates when visiting Canada under previous visa regimes, meaning they reliably come for their intended purpose, visit, and return to their home country, as required by immigration rules. And Canada reportedly noticed this consistent, compliant behavior over time. Here's something else that puts the Canadian decision into broader perspective. The Philippine passport, while gaining mobility, currently allows visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to only around 67 countries, a relatively limited number compared to passports from many developed nations. But when Canada made the change to allow eligible Filipinos facilitated travel, it signaled something significant on the international stage. a shift in immigration trust being granted based not solely on a country's passport rank or economic power, but on the demonstrated behavior and track record of its citizens as travelers. That's a powerful message to the world about what factors immigration authorities value. You might think, isn't granting this facilitated status risky for Canada, potentially leading to increased immigration challenges? According to analysts, the decision was reportedly a calculated move, not a gamble. Filipinos make up a major and increasingly vital part of Canada's healthcare workforce, particularly as nurses and caregivers. They contribute significantly to the student population at Canadian educational institutions, and they are active in various business sectors. Facilitating their travel under specific conditions is seen as a reward for the long-standing bilateral cooperation between Canada and the Philippines, and a recognition of the deep and reliable people-to-people ties that have been established over decades through migration and exchange. So, next time someone underestimates the potential power or standing of the Philippine passport on the global stage, remind them that in the case of Canada, demonstrated behavior, a history of compliance, and strong community ties can speak louder and open more doors than traditional passport rankings alone. Filipinos have reportedly earned Canada's trust through consistent reliability, and now that trust for eligible travelers comes with an electronic travel authorization, ETA, and the prospect of easier access and open doors to Canada. Thailand. Have you ever considered how a country primarily known on the global stage for its stunning tropical beaches, vibrant street food culture, ancient temples, and bustling tourist destinations could end up making it onto the list of nations whose citizens don't need a standard visa to visit Canada? Welcome to Thailand, a popular tourist destination for Canadians, where the dynamics of international travel are reportedly evolving in interesting ways, making travel easier for Thai citizens wishing to visit Canada. Canadians have long traveled to Thailand for vacation and business, but the reverse is now reportedly true too, with significantly reduced hurdles. Eligible Thai citizens can now reportedly travel to Canada with only an electronic travel authorization ETA if arriving by air, making the process far simpler, less time-consuming, and less expensive than applying for a traditional visitor visa. But what makes Thailand, whose passport doesn't traditionally rank among the most powerful globally in terms of widespread visa-free access, special enough to earn this facilitated travel status from Canada? According to reports, it's rooted in more than just the popularity of Thailand as a tourist destination. Thailand has actively worked to build a reputation as a significant hub for business, education, and international trade within the dynamic Southeast Asian region. And despite experiencing various political and economic challenges over the years, Thailand has reportedly maintained a relatively stable economy and fostered strong diplomatic ties with Canada, engaging in bilateral cooperation on various fronts. This stability and the established diplomatic relationship play a significant role in why Canadian officials reportedly place a degree of trust in Thai citizens as travelers. This facilitated status reportedly wasn't simply handed out freely. It has been earned through consistent performance over the years. Reports indicate that Thailand has seen consistently low immigration violation rates among its citizens visiting Canada under previous travel requirements, meaning instances of overstays or other breaches of immigration rules have been minimal. This is coupled with a steady number of Thai visitors who reliably return to their home country after their visits, as required by immigration regulations. This pattern of compliant travel behavior reportedly speaks volumes to Canadian immigration authorities about the reliability and trustworthiness of Thai citizens as visitors. Thai travelers are often perceived and described as responsible and respectful visitors who adhere to the laws and customs of the countries they travel to. And while Thailand's passport currently doesn't have the same extensive level of visa-free mobility as passports from many Western or more highly ranked nations, its citizens are reportedly on a pathway towards greater global access, with facilitated travel being a key step. The fact that Thailand has earned Canada's trust for visa-free travel for eligible citizens via ETA is seen by many as a testament to its improving international standing and the recognition of its efforts in managing outbound travel and ensuring compliance. While Thailand might be most widely known on the global stage for its stunning resorts, beautiful beaches, and vibrant street food, With its growing influence in regional business and diplomacy, it is reportedly becoming a lot more than just a tourist destination in the eyes of countries like Canada. Morocco. What if a country, strategically located at a crossroads of continents, blending a rich and ancient culture with a forward-looking approach to development, became an increasingly sought-after destination for international travel, not just for its attractions, but because of the trust it has built on the global stage over the years? Morocco has reportedly made significant positive waves in the international community through its diplomatic engagement, economic reforms, and efforts to enhance its security cooperation. And now, it is reportedly getting tangible recognition for these efforts in the form of enhanced travel privileges for its citizens. According to reports, citizens of Morocco can now visit Canada without needing a standard visitor visa for short-term stays, a significant development made possible thanks to their inclusion on the list of countries eligible for the Electronic Travel Authorization, ETA, if arriving by air. You would be genuinely shocked how quickly this shift happened, moving Morocco from a status that required a traditional visa application process to one of facilitated, visa-free entry via the ETA for eligible travelers. This change is reportedly rooted in several factors. Morocco's sustained political stability in a region often characterized by volatility is seen as a positive indicator. This, coupled with its growing diplomatic and economic ties with Canada, has reportedly helped it earn a spot on this coveted list of visa-exempt nations. The country's strategic geographical position, situated between Europe and Africa, and possessing coastlines on both the Atlantic and Mediterranean, has historically made it a critical player in international diplomacy, trade routes, and security cooperation. And guess what? The decision to grant visa exemption is reportedly not just about high-level business or political considerations. It also reflects a trust in the behavior of Moroccan citizens as travelers. Reports indicate that Moroccan travelers, in general, have a solid and reliable reputation for being punctual, adhering to immigration rules, and respecting the laws of the countries they visit. There has been an increasing number of Moroccans traveling internationally for legitimate purposes, including educational pursuits abroad, cultural exchanges that foster mutual understanding, and business activities that contribute to global commerce. Crucially, reports show a low overstay rate among Moroccan visitors to Canada under previous visa requirements, meaning that the vast majority have demonstrated their intent to return home after their visits as required. This consistent record of compliance further demonstrates to Canadian authorities that its citizens can be trusted to adhere to immigration regulations. Beyond its traditional strengths in tourism and agriculture, Morocco is actively growing its tech and educational sectors, building a more robust modern infrastructure and fostering innovation across various industries. These deliberate efforts to modernize and engage positively on the global stage have reportedly helped the country move into a more favorable light internationally, enhancing its reputation and leading to tangible benefits like facilitated travel. So, when you see Morocco on the list of countries whose citizens are eligible for visa-free travel to Canada via ETA for eligible travelers, remember that this status is a direct result of years of building trust, proving reliability through compliant travel behavior, and demonstrating political stability and international cooperation. Eligible Moroccan citizens are now able to experience Canada more easily, and this facilitated access reportedly opens the door for even more opportunities for both countries to grow their connections and cooperation in areas beyond just tourism. From countries known for their economic power and technological advancement, like Japan and South Korea, to island nations like Singapore and dynamic emerging economies like the UAE, Philippines, Thailand, and Morocco, and complex geopolitical actors like Israel and Taiwan, we have uncovered how visa-free or facilitated travel via the ETA is opening doors for citizens of more and more countries worldwide. We've also explored how each of these nations has reportedly earned that trust from Canada through a unique combination of factors, including consistent compliant travel behavior, robust security measures, strong economic ties, and effective diplomatic engagement. These examples collectively demonstrate that while traditional measures of national power are relevant, factors like reliability, security, and a track record of respecting international rules are often paramount in determining who gets to skip the traditional visa process. As this video wraps up, we'd like to remind you to like and subscribe to our channel. Your support is vital for our channel's growth and helps us keep creating content. To be notified about new videos, remember to hit that bell icon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.